Top 10 animals that never stop growing. Some animals literally never stop growing, and the bigger they get, the scarier they become. While humans hit a growth limit in their teens, and most mammals stop after reaching adulthood, certain creatures live by an entirely different rulebook. For them, full-grown doesn't exist. They just keep expanding, year after year, decade after decade, until they become living monsters straight out of a nightmare. In today's countdown, we're diving into the top 10 animals that never stop growing. From sharks older than entire nations, to reptiles that can turn into unstoppable tanks, these creatures defy the laws of biology and evolution. So buckle up, because the deeper we go down this list, the more terrifying nature becomes. And trust me, you don't want to miss number 1. Before we start, make sure to hit that subscribe button and join the Animal Ranking Hub community, where we uncover the most mind-blowing, shocking, and mysterious facts about the animal kingdom every single week. Number 10. Saltwater crocodile, the living tank. The saltwater crocodile is the closest thing we have to a real-life dinosaur. Already terrifying at average size, these reptiles don't play by normal growth rules. While humans stop growing once we hit adulthood, saltwater crocs just keep getting bigger and bigger until they die. A young croc might start out looking manageable, but give it decades and it transforms into a 20-foot, 1-ton killing machine. They can live for over 70 years, and every year adds more size, more muscle, and more raw power. In the animal kingdom, time usually weakens you. For saltwater crocodiles, time just makes them more dangerous. Their diet doesn't help either. These beasts will eat literally anything: birds, fish, buffalo, even sharks. If it moves, and with jaws that can crush bone like twigs, their ever-growing size turns them into apex predators for life. The scariest part? No cage of maximum size exists. Theoretically, the longer they survive, the more monstrous they become. That means somewhere out there, lurking in murky rivers and coastal waters, could be a croc far larger than anything we've ever recorded. A prehistoric nightmare still growing right now. Number 9. Greenland shark, the ancient giant. If saltwater crocodiles are living tanks, then the Greenland shark is a ghost ship drifting through the deep. Found in the icy waters of the North Atlantic, this shark can live for over 400 years, making it the longest living vertebrate on the planet. And here's the kicker: it keeps growing that entire time. Most sharks slow down after reaching adulthood. Not this one. A Greenland shark may start out small, but century after century, it keeps adding bulk. By the time it's a few hundred years old, it can stretch over 20 feet long. Imagine a predator that was already alive during the reign of Shakespeare. Still cruising, still growing, still hunting. But don't picture a flashy high-speed killer like a great white. Greenland sharks are slow, almost sluggish, yet their size, power, and sheer endurance make them unstoppable in their icy domain. They feed on fish, seals, and even scavenged polar bears. Proof that patience, not speed, can rule the ocean. What makes them so monstrous is the simple math. If you live 4 centuries and never stop growing, you eventually become a leviathan. And somewhere in the dark, frigid waters of the Arctic, there are sharks older than entire countries. Still alive, still expanding, still getting scarier with every passing year. Number 8. Giant tortoise, the slow-motion monster. At first glance, a giant tortoise doesn't look terrifying. They move slow, munch on plants, and seem like peaceful old sages of the animal kingdom. But here's the twist. These reptiles don't stop growing. The older they get, the bigger they become, turning into walking boulders that can weigh over 600 pounds. Unlike mammals, tortoises have indeterminate growth. That means their bones and shells never receive the stop signal. Instead, year after year, they just keep expanding. With lifespans of 150 to 200 years, they have more than enough time to turn into lumbering giants. In the Galapagos and Seychelles, some tortoises are older than modern countries, and they're still growing. Imagine a creature born before electricity was discovered, now towering like a slow-moving fortress. It doesn't need speed or sharp teeth. Its sheer size is protection enough. Predators don't bother with a living tank made of bone and armor. What makes them monstrous isn't aggression, but endurance. These tortoises are nature's ultimate survivors, carrying centuries of growth on their backs. They prove that in the wild, size isn't just power, It's also survival. Number 7. Catfish, the river giants. If the ocean has its monsters, freshwater rivers have theirs too. And they come in the form of colossal catfish. Unlike most fish that eventually hit a size cap, catfish never stop growing as long as they live. That's why rivers across the world, from the Mississippi to the Mekong, are home to legends of monstrous catfish that could swallow a person whole. The Mekong giant catfish, for example, can reach over 600 pounds and stretch more than 9 feet long. Fishermen describe them as ghostly giants lurking in muddy waters. Their bulk more like a drifting log than a fish, and the older they get, the more massive they become. What makes them especially terrifying is their unpredictability. Catfish are bottom feeders, meaning they'll eat just about anything: plants, smaller fish, even unlucky animals that wander too close to the water's edge. As their size increases, so does their appetite and their power to drag down whatever they latch onto. In some cultures, stories of river demons or water monsters are often just exaggerated encounters with oversized catfish. And while the myths sound wild, the science is clear. Given enough time, a catfish can grow into a river monster that looks like it belongs in folklore, not reality. Number 6. Koi fish, the gentle giants. Koi fish might look like harmless ornaments in a garden pond, but don't be fooled by their beauty. These fish never actually stop growing. While most pets reach a fixed size, koi keep expanding slowly but surely throughout their lives. And with lifespans of up to 200 years, that's a long time to bulk up. A koi that starts out small and colorful can, after decades, transform into a massive, lumbering creature weighing more than 90 pounds and stretching over 4 feet long. In Japan, where koi are symbols of luck and longevity, some families pass them down through generations, each year watching their gentle giant get bigger. Unlike predators on this list, koi don't terrify with teeth or aggression. Instead, it's their sheer size that catches people off guard. Imagine leaning over a pond to feed your koi, only to see a creature the size of a toddler swimming up to greet you. Harmless, yes, but still shocking. What makes koi fascinating is the same thing that makes them unsettling. Time transforms them. The longer they live, the larger they become, until a once delicate pet fish evolves into a gentle monster that outlives its owners. Number 5. Sturgeon, prehistoric behemoths. Sturgeons look less like modern fish and more like creatures that swam alongside dinosaurs. And in a way, they did. These ancient giants have existed for over 200 million years, and like many relics of the past, they come with one terrifying trait: they never stop growing. While some sturgeons might start small, given enough time, they can reach monstrous sizes. The beluga sturgeon, for example, can grow to more than 20 feet long and weigh over a ton. That's not a fish you'd casually reel in. It's a living submarine. And because sturgeons can live more than 100 years, they have all the time they need to keep on expanding. What makes them extra intimidating is their armored bodies. Covered in bony plates called scutes, they resemble something between a shark and a tank. Combine that with their constant growth, and you've got a creature that feels like a leftover experiment from the age of monsters. Fishermen's tales of river beasts dragging boats under often come from encounters with massive sturgeons. And considering that each year of life adds more bulk, it's no wonder they've inspired legends. These are not just fish, they're prehistoric survivors that prove size is a weapon forged over centuries. Number 4. Komodo dragon, the island predator. The Komodo dragon is already terrifying at first sight. A lizard as long as a man, armed with venomous saliva, razor-sharp teeth, and a hunter's instinct. But here's the real nightmare fuel. Komodo dragons never stop growing. The older they get, the more massive, aggressive, and dangerous they become. In the wild, most Komodo dragons live around 30 years. That's 3 decades of continuous growth, as turning hatchlings the size of a gecko into apex predators that can exceed 10 feet long and weigh more than 300 pounds. And unlike crocodiles that lurk in water, these monsters prowl the land, stalking deer, wild boar, and even water buffalo. Their hunting style is brutal. One bite delivers venom laced with bacteria and anticoagulants, weakening the prey. The dragon then follows its victim for hours or days, until it collapses, only to be devoured alive by a reptile that's still growing stronger with every year. Komodo dragons are proof that size plus time equals terror. Every extra pound, every added inch makes them more effective killers. And on their Indonesian island homes, humans aren't excluded from the menu. When your predator never stops getting bigger, the monster only gets worse. Number 3. Axolotl and giant salamanders, eternal growers. Some monsters hide in plain sight, looking harmless or even cute, while carrying one of nature's strangest secrets. They never stop growing. That's the case for axolotls and giant salamanders, amphibians that defy the rules of development. Axolotls, often called smiling salamanders, are famous for never fully maturing. Instead of growing up, they stay in a juvenile state their entire lives, yet keep increasing in size. It's like being stuck as a teenager forever, but getting bigger every year. While pet axolotls might seem small, wild ones can grow much larger, turning from quirky lab mascots into eerie aquatic giants. Then there's their cousins, the giant salamanders of China and Japan, true river monsters. These beasts can reach over 6 feet long, with slimy, wrinkled bodies that look like something out of a horror movie. And since they keep growing as long as they live, the oldest salamanders are also the most enormous. What makes them unsettling is the combination of appearance and biology. Their alien-like forms, paired with their endless growth, blur the line between science and myth. In folklore, they're mistaken for water demons. In reality, they're living proof that some animals never stop adding size, no matter how monstrous it makes them. Number 2. Lobsters, the immortal crawlers. Most animals age, weaken, and eventually die. Lobsters? They seem to have skipped that memo. These crustaceans don't just keep living longer than expected. They keep growing bigger with every passing year. Unlike mammals, lobsters don't suffer from typical aging. Thanks to an enzyme called telomerase, they can repair their DNA almost indefinitely, slowing down the biological clock. That means instead of breaking down over time, lobsters just keep shedding their shells, replacing them with bigger ones and expanding in size. The result? A lobster that starts out palm-sized can, after decades, weigh over 40 pounds and grow longer than a human arm. In fact, some of the largest lobsters ever caught were estimated to be over 100 years old and still had room to grow. But immortality has a catch. Molting gets harder as lobsters grow larger, and many eventually die from the sheer strain of trying to escape their old shells. Still, the fact remains: if they avoid predators and fishing nets, lobsters don't stop getting bigger. They aren't movie monsters with sharp teeth or crushing jaws, but there's something deeply unsettling about a creature that ignores aging, ignores limits, and just keeps crawling toward infinity. Number 1. Snakes, pythons, and anacondas, endless constrictors. If there's one creature that embodies the idea of never stop growing, it's the giant snake. Pythons and anacondas don't have a biological size limit. Instead, they keep expanding as long as food is available and life continues. The older they get, the more terrifying they become. The green anaconda, found in South America, is the heaviest snake on Earth, tipping the scales at over 500 pounds and stretching more than 30 feet long. Pythons, like the reticulated python of Southeast Asia, rival them in length, capable of swallowing entire deer or even crocodiles whole. And because they never stop growing, the largest specimens are always the oldest ones. Monsters decades in the making. What makes them nightmarish is not just their size, but their hunting method. These snakes don't need venom. Instead, they wrap their muscular bodies around prey, squeezing tighter with every breath until life is crushed out. The bigger the snake, the stronger the squeeze. Now imagine this. Somewhere deep in a swamp or rainforest, an undiscovered python or anaconda might be growing even now, larger than any record, hidden in the dark, waiting. Real-life monsters that don't just exist in legends, but in the wild, still growing, still hungry. And there you have it, the top 10 real-life monsters that never stop growing. From ancient sharks older than nations to reptiles that turn into living tanks, these creatures prove one terrifying truth. In nature, time doesn't always mean weakness. Sometimes it means unstoppable growth. While humans hit a limit, these animals break every rule, expanding, surviving, and in some cases, becoming more dangerous the longer they live. It's a reminder that the natural world is full of secrets that still defy our understanding, and some of the most incredible beasts are out there right now, getting even bigger. So which of these endless growers shocked you the most? Would you rather face a giant croc, a monstrous python, or a lobster that might outlive your entire family tree? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this countdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another deep dive into the wildest corners of the animal kingdom. This is Animal Ranking Hub. Thanks for watching, and remember, out there in nature, the monsters never stop growing.